What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about commuting and what it means to commute and why people have to commute. We're going to talk about the pros and cons, well really only the cons of commuting, and the voluntary versus involuntary side of commuting. So before we get into it, if you guys enjoyed these videos, smash the thumbs up button, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new here, and let's get into it. Now let's break down exactly what it means to be a commuter as an airline pilot. For the general population, most people think of commuting as getting in your car in your house and commuting to your office to start your day at work. But for an airline pilot, it can be vastly different. For an airline pilot, it can be as simple as getting in your car and driving to the airport and beginning your day at work. For others, getting in your car, driving to the airport, flying to another city, maybe a state over, beginning your day at work. And for some others, they could go as far as going transcon or even international. Yes, we have pilots that live in other countries that commute in to start work, and we'll break that down in just a moment. But commuting in general for airline pilots can definitely take a toll on their bodies and take a toll of being away from family, and we'll break that down as well of how much time being away from home a commuting airline pilot can really add up to. Let's break down a physical trip of mine. This is a 3-day trip, the 24th through the 26th. It has a 6:59 a.m. check-in time and a 22:05 finish time on the 26th. Now, let's talk about the front side of this trip. So we said it's a 3-day trip with a 6:59 a.m. check-in time. Unfortunately, I cannot get in to Newark prior to this check-in time with a backup flight in mind. So we have a backup flight in case our first commuting flight cancels, gets delayed, so on and so forth. We have to be responsible and make sure we get in time to keep the operation moving and there's no hiccups or anything whatsoever. So we will have to go in the day prior. We say we, but this is me, but I'll take you guys along on my Instagram if you guys wanna go follow me there. It's @FlyWithGarrett. I do tons of behind the scenes stuff on my Instagram, whether it's stories or posts, you name it, it's over there, so go check it out. But we'll have to go in on the 23rd. So what does this mean? This means time away from home and money out of our pocket. And let me break down exactly why that is. For me, quality of life comes first and foremost, over pay and over everything else. I want to spend time at home. I want to spend time with my friends, my family, my dog. So being home as much as possible is huge for me. Yes, I know I'm in a traveling career, being an airline pilot, I'm always gone. That's not so much the case. You tend to be able to, as your career progresses and you get more and more seniority, you're home more and more and more. And we'll talk about commuting as a senior pilot versus junior pilot. For me, I'm a junior pilot, I'm getting uncommutable trips, and I'll have to go in the day prior. On the 23rd, I'll have to get a hotel. So not only am I away from home, I'm also having to pull money in my pocket and pay for a hotel. And I'm gonna have to go in pretty early on the 23rd, early as in maybe between noon or 3 p.m. I'll have to take off and fly up to Newark because I do need to get to the hotel with a reasonable amount of time for me to get rest because I am getting up probably around 5:15 in the morning for a 6:59 a.m. report time. So that's a lot of time. That's at least 12 to 18 hours away from home on the front side, which was supposed to be time off. Days away from work. I'm supposed to be at home those days. So let's talk about now the backside of the trip. I go and fly a beautiful 3-day trip. I have a great time. I go to Cabo, I go to Dallas, 1 leg on the first day, 2 legs on the second day, 2 legs on the last day, but I land back in New York at 22:05, 10:05 p.m. Unfortunately, there's no longer any flights down to Charlotte at 10:05 p.m. out of Newark. All 3 airports, Newark, JFK, LaGuardia. So now this trip is not only uncommutable on the front side, but it's uncommutable on the back side. So what does that mean? Time away from home, money out of my pocket. I'm having to get a hotel and it's more and more time away from home. So I do know this seems like I'm complaining a lot, but I just want to be very open and honest what it's like as a junior commuting pilot. You're going to get trips that are uncommutable and it is time away from home. However, sometimes commuting means you can upgrade sooner. You can fly a wide body aircraft sooner. Some people commute to get to a certain aircraft, whether it's the upgrade or fly the wide body international, and then eventually will be able to hold that back at their home base wherever they reside. So, like I said, more and more senior you get, the more and more commutable trips that you get. So there are tons of pilots, almost half the airline actually commutes, which is unbelievable, but it's true because you can actually have a very good life as a commuter airline pilot. But unfortunately, as a junior airline pilot that's also a commuter, I'm gonna get these trips that start at 6:59 in the morning, that get done at midnight or 10 p.m. where you can't commute home. So that's what it means for me as a commuter pilot, being junior. I'm just unfortunately gonna get these very, very junior uncommutable trips. For instance, this month I had 16 days off. Wow, 16 days off, 16 days at home. That sounds phenomenal. But unfortunately, all 4 of those trips that month were all uncommutable on the front side and the back side. So 4 trips, 2 days each are both commuting days. That's 8 days. So that's 16 days off just went down to 8 days off. So you can see how significantly less quality of life becomes more of a factor whenever you're a commuting airline pilot. So now let me break down what it means to be a voluntary commuter and an involuntary commuter. For me, living in Charlotte, I'm just simply not senior enough to hold Charlotte as a base. My airline does have Charlotte as a pilot base, but like I said, I'm just not senior enough. I just got hired, it'll take some time, which unbelievably enough, I was awarded Charlotte in June, which is insane. Time to be a pilot is right now. If you're thinking about starting to get your pilot's license, to get into aviation, I've never seen movement like this in my entire life. Yes, I know I'm very young and junior when it comes to the airlines, but whether it's my father or other senior pilots who I fly with who have been in this industry for 30 plus years, they say, you have no idea how good you've got it. And I truly don't. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I've hit these insane waves, but this hiring boom that's taking place right now, we're gonna see unprecedented movement in the airline industry, and it's phenomenal. It's gonna be such a great time to be an airline pilot. And for me to get hired in October and be awarded Charlotte, which used to be a very senior base, to be awarded Charlotte just 8 months later in June is unbelievable. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So that's what it means to be an involuntary commuter. I live in Charlotte, but I just simply do not have enough seniority to hold Charlotte. So I'm based up in New York, which tends to be the most junior base for most airlines. Just because the cost of living up in New York is so high. You know, a lot of pilots have families, and maybe raising a family up in New York isn't the greatest. Maybe people don't like the cold, whatever it might be. But that's what it means to be an involuntary commuter. Now, voluntary commuter is very obvious. Maybe your airline doesn't have a base up in New York and you absolutely love New York. So you live in New York and your airline has a base down in Charlotte. So to start work, you have to fly down to Charlotte to start your day of work. There are so many people, like I said, over half the airline, I believe it's about half the airline is a commuter pilot. So people maybe they live down in Puerto Rico, which we have so many pilots that commute out of Puerto Rico. It's an absolutely beautiful place. It's like paradise. They want to live down there. They want to enjoy their 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 days off a month down in Puerto Rico. And the few days that they do have to work, maybe they'll commute up to Miami or to Dallas or to Charlotte or to Phoenix, wherever their home base is. That's what it means to be a voluntary commuter. So what can we take away from this video? If you're looking to get into the airlines and maybe you go the regional route and you want to commute for your 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years that you might be at a regional, but then you have your 20, 30, maybe even a 40 plus career at the majors, if that's a route that you want to take, then maybe don't move for your regional and commute for your regional life, but set yourself up for a base structure for the major airline that you want to work for. So what does that mean? For the airline that I'm currently working for, I love their bases. There were a lot of places that this airline has base-wise that I would consider living. Charlotte being one of them, Miami, Dallas, Phoenix. These are all great places that me personally, I find that I would love to live in, and I could see myself living there for the rest of my life. Thankfully, Charlotte, being born and raised here, it just fell perfectly for me. So I don't see myself leaving here anytime soon, and being awarded Charlotte already on the 737 here in June, life's just phenomenal. I can't imagine going anywhere else. So set yourself up where maybe you're gonna commute out of that place. Maybe this airline is where you wanna work and Charlotte's where you wanna live, but your regional that you're gonna go to first, it doesn't have a base there. Maybe go ahead and move to Charlotte and get yourself set up for that airline that you wanna work for. Because with the family and moving just for a regional base that you might only be there, especially with the movement now these days, which I want you to take into consideration as well. You might not be at a regional for 5, 6, 7 years. You might just be there 2, 3, 4 years at most. With the movement that's taking place right now and the legacy carriers sucking up the regionals as fast as they are, you really might not be there that long. So just plan for the future. Think about the airlines that you want to work for. Think about the base structures that they have and where you could see yourself living long term, and potentially start moving there prior to getting on with those majors. Look at the seniority at those bases. Get on the forums, just get on the websites, ask around people, hey, are these base senior? How does this base look for living? Just ask around, ask people. This aviation industry is all about networking, and it's very small. It's a great community. And I think right now is a phenomenal time to be an airline pilot. If you guys are wondering what I keep looking over here, I just keep looking at this because I'm obsessed with the 737. I don't know why. As you guys know, in previous videos, I talked about I really wanted the Airbus at the beginning, but now that I'm on the 737 and I've been flying it, it's a phenomenal aircraft, and I definitely plan on staying it for a long time, hopefully upgrading, and who knows where we'll go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope it helped a lot of you, because I get so many questions, so many DMs, so many emails about, Garrett, why do you keep going up to New York and then you don't start work until the day prior? This is why, because I'm an involuntary commuter. I don't want to commute, but I have to just because of my seniority. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you're in the airline industry and you love commuting, and tell me why. Please let us know. Help the people out, help the viewers out down below. If you guys want more aviation topics, which obviously we're going to cover a vast majority of aviation industry and the topics surrounding aviation, leave a comment down below. And until next time, peace.